What's up, teammates? Well, today was the day we've all been waiting for. At least the day I've been waiting for the Max Crosby roundup. Get the final word from the horse's mouth. See what Max Crosby has to say about the big AP's gone situation. I was behind him, and now he's gone, and is Max as pissed off as everybody thinks he may be, and we're just waiting to see and hear in the episode. And it turns out Max is not all that pissed off. It was interesting to me because it seemed like, well, I didn't know what it would be like, actually. I didn't know if he'd be upset. He's fought so hard for him last year. It seemed like this year, if it didn't happen for AP and just get fired after 1 year, whatever controversy be involved, then he might feel a certain way, and that way could be negative because, he was down with AP and he you know, he fought so hard to get him the job, and then what happened, right? But if you watch it, I watched it, and it seemed like Max was totally understanding of the firing. When they asked Max about it, and he was like, okay, it's time to address the elephant in the room. How do you feel about what happened to Antonio Pierce as a coach? And he went straight to his family. I feel for his family. I know it's going to be rough on him. Tears your life apart. This is football. It's a rough business. This and that. Everybody gets fired. But he never said, I thought it was a bad firing. He never said, I thought Antonio Pierce did a good job and it shouldn't have gone that way. He never said, they do what they do and I have to do what I do and I'm not paying it any attention. He never had any fully negative opinion of the situation. What he did say was, AP, you still my boy. He was voicing out to AP on the show. It's, AP, you still my boy. I'm always there for you. You can always call me. We always cool from now on forever. You know what I'm saying? And that was that message to AP. But at no point did he send a message to anyone that AP should not have been fired and that AP was a good coach and that he's not, and he's upset with what the Raiders did and he's looking forward to getting out of here. So when he said it the way he said it, I felt like he's not mad at the franchise for making the decision, which is good. So what he really was speaking about more as far as his staying with the team or not was, what's going to happen on the outside. He said how he was, excited about what's to come, and it seems as though he means more about excited what's to come, more like in to figure out, what he's worth, what people are, willing to pay for him, where he is on the market, because he's going to want his money, and he's going to want to see what type of money there is out there, and in the end of the game, for players, money shows what your worth, and your worth is a reflect of your ability. So the biggest money man always seems or feels like they're the best, and that's what the dollar says, right? So he's going after that dollar, as he should, And I think really what he's allowing his agent to do is speak about the money to people outside, you know. And since he has no commitments anywhere, he has a contract but no guaranteed money. So he's excited to see what money his name does generate. So he did say that all his stuff is packed up and ready to go because you never know what happens. But he didn't seem upset with the franchise. As a matter of fact, when he brought up Mark Davis, what he did say about him was he felt like he and Mark Davis were on the same page. He said, "What I will say about Mark Davis is I know that he wants to win. That above everything, we're on the same page with that. And everything he does is an attempt to make the team better and give it a chance to win football games." And he's impressed with that. And I think that relationship between Maxx and Mark is what's going to keep him here, because a good, strong relationship with the owner really is all a player needs. If you trust what the owner's doing, if the owner trusts you as a player to tell you what he's doing, and if y'all got that that tight relationship, what I hope they have, I hope maybe, they have that ride or die relationship. Maybe Maxx feels like, you know what, if I don't do it with the Raiders, I won't do it at all, and that's fine. Maybe. Maybe he's like, Mark, I trust and believe in everything you're doing, and I'm going to stay here as long as I possibly can. But if it chokes out and it falls out, I'll have to leave. And Mark is like, I understand, but you give me as much time as you possibly can. And I feel like that's where they are. Mark is like, I know you want to win. You know I want to win. I'm not cutting corners. I'm not bringing in people that, are not worth what I'm giving them. I'm bringing in anybody who I think can do what we need to have done to get wins on the board. And Maxx Crosby 100% believes that Mark Davis is trying to do that. And that right there is a strong enough bond to keep him here. And I feel like as long as he gets his bag, he won't leave. He'll keep up in his contract, but there may come a time later when he and Mark agree together that we'll try and find a place for you to get that ring. I think Maxx is 100% hardcore Raider for life. And I think he's that Raider for life. Like, even if he did leave to go get a ring, he's going to come back at his end of his career to make sure he retires as a Raider for life type dude. So we'll wait and see what happens for the offseason. I'm pretty sure Telesco is smart enough to give Mark his bag each time he asks for it. So that shouldn't be a problem. And if Mark is as dealt in with Telesco, Mark is as dealt in with Maxx as Maxx believes them to be, I think he'll be around and he'll ride through more rough roads than that are coming. He expects the roughness to come, and he's ready to ride with it. And maybe he has a set mind frame of how many years they're looking at, or who knows exactly how Maxx is feeling about it. But from what I see, and in my opinion, which is all I have anyway, it seems like he's not mad at the franchise. He understands that AP had to go, and it doesn't seem like he disagrees with the decision. So that's good enough for me. I think we're happy with Maxx Crosby on that. I think he's going to stay. So that that is the good thing, and I think the best thing about that is that it shows that Maxx Crosby is an open thinker. He's not closed minded like we all see how even keeled his mind is, and he's not upset about the way things go, and he understands that things don't go the way you want them to. Sometimes unfortunate situations hit. You got to power through those unfortunate situations and come through on the other side. But while you're in that that unfortunate situation, understand that the other side is coming. And Maxx is right there. He understands that the other side should be coming. But if we can produce that other side in the next 3 to 4 years, he would understand, and I think Mark would understand him going, right? So I'm good with that. The team's good with that, and I'm ready for Maxx to get down, get dirty, and hunker down, because I really believe that he's going to get his bag, And I believe that he's not upset with AP. being fired. Now, I don't think he's upset with AP as a person. And I don't think AP got enough of a chance, but I do also think that his ability as a game managing coach didn't improve at all, really. I mean, the last game, that interception played by Aiden O'Connell, which I'll get to later, because it really shouldn't have even been a play with 40 seconds left on the other team's in the other team's territory, throwing the ball. When you least you should run the clock down on third. You kick the ball. You kick the damn ball. You got the best kicker in the damn game. You pin them down and hope for something better to happen there. But doing that, he shows that he's not ready to do that part of it. And that part is too important to wait for it to come together, especially this late in the season. He's aggressive at times when he shouldn't be, like on that play. Then there are times when he should be a little more aggressive when he has the ball, but instead of just trying to use those last minute and a half, he just mails it in and goes into halftime. So it seems like, I don't know if he's following his gut and not doing the right thing, or if he's hearing a lot of outside noise and he's kind of veering towards the voices that are coming from the outside of his head. Either way, he was making coaching decisions for game management that were problems. And you can't wait for something like that to improve next year if it hasn't improved over time from last year to the end of this year. Because this is a problem that we said with Antonio Pierce last year. We were concerned with his game management. And, the team was ready to go. The team was always in there for the first half, for the first quarter and the third quarter. The defense was always in there. The offense was able to usually get the majority of their points in the first for sure, and then every once in a while they pulled more points together in the third. But the second and the fourth quarter we could score no points. But it's not Antonio Pierce's job to score points. It's his job to keep everybody motivated to get into the game to score the points. And it's his job to be the CEO of the game to manage the flow. So that is the part that probably lost Antonio Pierce his job. That game management part. And that's the most important part, right? If you're the coach who doesn't call the plays on offense or defense, your job is to motivate, to coordinate, and to operate. And if you can't manage the operations of the games, which he really didn't show much improvement in over the course of the season, then you can't hope he'll get better again next season. Because that's obviously a shortcoming, and it's a major shortcoming. And as much as I like Antonio Pierce, thinking about it, looking back at it, decisions like that, going for it, going into the locker room when you could have just either punted it or, not throwing the ball 4 times. Now that's, I guess, the Turner's fault for throwing the ball 4 times. But again, it's 4th and 7? And of course, you're trying to get that with the first 3. They weren't planning on going for it on the 4th down, I don't believe. And Antonio Pierce put a 4th down play in there and said, I want to go for it, which was the problem. And then Aiden throws an interception, and they get points out of it, and the ball goes the other way. So when Antonio Pierce called on that, we can see that he was bad and not necessarily getting worse, but definitely not getting better. And we need that type of experience in a head coach. So we have to go out there and get that head coach who has experience on game management. That doesn't mean that we're not in a rebuild, right? That doesn't change anything. if anything, it just more sternly assures the fact that we're going to rebuild mode. And it also means that whether they needed to have a plan for whom they're going to hire, they clearly knew that Antonio Pierce wasn't the future. And that's why they went, I think, the direction with just firing him now and not even trying to figure out which way to go after him. Because I think the writing was on the wall. Maybe there was a final interview that they went through, or they just delayed the process for whatever reason. But I believe the lack of game management skills is what lost Antonio Pierce's job, unless there was something behind the scenes that I don't know about. But as far as motivating the players, the players loved them. They went in, they played hard each game, no matter, the circumstances. And that's really what his job was to do, and he did it. But the most important part of his job is to manage the game. And, we gave him a year and a half to do it. And, that play going forward on fourth down in that territory, in going into the half, you right there, you just like, okay, he just hasn't learned. No matter what happens, no matter how we tried, even if the last game wasn't, they have made the decision before that game, just seeing that call in their minds, I'm sure, solidified it. Like, yeah, he's really just not going to progress past that, or we can't give him the time here to learn how to progress past that. We're not going to do that. We don't have that type of time. We got to keep Maxx Crosby motivated and on the team. Not that the Raiders are only Maxx Crosby. It's that Maxx Crosby is a game changer for this team. He's the face of the team, and he's basically the heart and soul of the team. He is the motivator, and he is the example. And players themselves admit that coming to this team, they work harder because they see Maxx Crosby working hard, and they see that that's the standard, and they need to be part of that standard if they want to be here. Now, I thought losing Antonio Pierce is going to lose players being motivated to come over here as free agents, and I still feel that way. I feel the same way I felt about everything that I felt in the last episode. I just feel like Maxx is not upset about it, so it's not that big a deal. And I more completely analyzed the game calling aspect of what Antonio Pierce is doing. And that part was suspect to say the least. And it was more prevalently shown in that play. It shows lack of progress. And it shows that no matter which direction we're going, we can't stay with AP because we can't have that being a problem for our team going forward. So is that one of the reasons they delayed it for a second? Because they wasn't exactly sure how to break it to them, which way to go with it? Did they decide, look, there's no need to hold on and wait and do it 2 weeks later when it could be done now, and there's no need to give false hope and just get it out in the news that this is the direction we're going, so anybody who's out there looking for the coaching job understands that, yeah, we're moving on and we're ready to bring whomever in is ready to go, right? Whoever has the experience to do this, that's who they're looking for. And I understand that 100%. So I miss AP. I thought that he brought a good culture to the team. Let's hope the next the next coach coming in can bring a good culture to the team. We'll see. But yeah, upon further review, we couldn't keep Antonio Pierce specifically because of game management situations. And you can't wait for that type of thing to improve. You either see it improve quickly and noticeably, or you realize that there just may not be any improvement there and step on from it. Because getting in that situation, going forward for that far on fourth down when everybody knows you got to pass it, you're forcing Aiden to a rough situation. And yeah, he's going to have to force a pass. He doesn't want to take a sack, right? You don't want to throw it out of bounds, right? So you got to try to make a play. And the play didn't work. And he threw the interception. Now, let's go to that play and the interception. Because they spoke about that. And I saw it on the young man's, the name of the the name of the page was Rookie Advisor or Rookie Analyzer. Sorry, I missed the page. But anyways, the information he was going over. And that interception that Aiden O'Connell threw wasn't his fault. I know. It always seems like I'm defending Aiden O'Connell. I'm not good enough to put it up on here and show you exactly what happened so I can go through the angles, and this is why Aiden threw the interception, because I can't show you because I'm not that good. I'll explain it to you, and you can say my explanation is garbage, but it is the truth. Aiden's rolling out to his right, which means the running back, who is the check down, is trying to run in the same direction because Aiden has already done the read for Brock. He's double teamed off to the left. He now has to roll off to his right to create a play. He checks the check down back, and the back is at a bad angle, but he's still under the two linebackers, right? The two linebackers are still behind him, and he's rolling to Aiden's right, which would be his left. So they're rolling in the same direction. The the running back, as a receiver, puts his hand up to let you know, okay, I'm open, I got you, I see you. Do you see me? I'm right here. When he does that, he's in front of the linebackers. He's not sure if Aiden sees that or is going to trigger on that. So what he does is he stops because he was trying to get all the linebackers going one direction so he could cut back in the other direction. But he had already signaled for the ball. So he signaled for the ball, then he changed his mind to stop and go back the other direction. But once he signaled the ball, Aiden was there and throwing it so he can get it to him. But then he had stopped already, so he had to try to go again to get to the ball. It went past him and right to the linebacker. So what happened was a miscommunication. And that goes back to what I was saying yesterday when I was talking about, can Aiden progress those percentages? And are those percentages being able to be made up by players on the other side and the cohesion that we speak on? Because imagine that now that they've been in this situation already, they'll say, okay, I should have just kept going when I put my hand up, or next time we're in that situation, I'd rather you just break it deep, or I'd rather you come back, or yeah, you have the right idea, stop. If we're all going the right direction, you cut it back against the flow. Whatever they decide that they should do next time. But they're going to get it wrong the first time, usually because they're not on the same page. Now, if they're both super talented players, or one of them is an incredibly talented player and the other one's smart enough to figure out what that one's doing, then yeah, it'll come together. But sometimes, but really all the time, you need communication. If one player is thinking you're going to stop and the other player is thinking you're going to go, things like interceptions, like that situation, will happen. And you know, it's not that I'm excusing Aiden from every other bad throw he made. I'm just saying the interception wasn't his fault. There are bad throws that he made that I think were, like I said, not necessarily communication errors, but also there's timing. And those are timing errors in a lot of those throws. Some of them were errant throws. They were errant throws he threw for sure. Not a lot. I looked at the game that he was doing. Actually, I started to look at the game. I got busy. I want to really, really, really look at the game, and I'm gonna try to do that before my next show. But like I got a show anyway. But try to do that and watch it before the next time I get up here and talk about something. But as far as Aiden goes and that interception goes, first of all, we shouldn't have been going for it on fourth down. You know how I feel about that. Second of all, if we were going to go even try, we should have been running the ball those first two downs. We should have been trying to control the ball and leave the least amount of time on the clock for them if we ended up not kicking it or if we're trying to go and get a field goal or whatever. You don't give them extra time by throwing incomplete passes. If they want more time, force them to use their timeouts. But they got free timeouts because we were throwing incomplete passes. So that's another bad angle on that call. You can't go for it on fourth and long because everybody knows it's a pass. And your best player is not going to be there. And the communication on broken plays is not there with the players because they don't have enough experience with each other. Where if he would have just kept rolling, he was already in front of the linebackers. So if he'd have kept rolling, the ball would have been right in front of him in his chest. The linebackers wouldn't have been able to get to it. They would. Aiden knows how to throw the ball where the defender can't get to it. The defender wouldn't have got to that ball if the running back hadn't stopped on the play. So that ball would have been right in his chest, whether it had been a first down or not, and get the drive going. I don't know. And they would have still got the ball somewhere near there. Because even if the completion would have come, it was a 5-yard check down. We needed 7 yards. So that's what happened there. And with that being said, those points and percentages are right there. And if we do get Shedeur Sanders, we got to make sure he's at least as good as Aiden so we can make up those percentage points. And if he is, then we're going to make up those percentage points, and we got a good chance of having a good season next year. As far as a hope for, playoff type season, that's not there. Now, there's no coach in the locker room to make us believe that could happen. And no matter who we get, there's really no reason to think that, okay, we got him. Because, like I said before about Mike Vrabel, even if that's who we want and that's who we get, there's no guarantees that he's just going to come out and be fabulous for our squad. Like I said, when Tennessee, he left on a very, very sour note and a very, very bad record. So he's coming in behind the 8 ball for sure. I mean, he's coming into a situation that's fortunate for him because there's plenty of money. It's a wide open space, and they're just ready to build the foundation with whomever they bring in. And whomever they bring in should be ready and comfortable knowing that, look, we all got to get this right. And we're starting from A1, and we all got to go in the right direction. Starting now. Okay? We don't have to get there next week, but we all, starting now, have got to get our heads together and go in one direction. And with a blank slate like they have, they can. And they will. And it's going to be exciting for us to watch. If not interesting, at least. So maybe Aiden's there, maybe Sador's there, maybe maybe we get what's that? The Patrick Graham? No, that's our coach. Anyway, the other head offensive coordinator for whatever hell team I'm talking about. You guys know better than I do. I forget the dude's name, but you know what I'm talking about. If we can get an offensive coach, if we get an offensive head coach, now we cooking with grease, right? If we can get somebody to not necessarily even mold Aiden. The thing with Aiden is right now, at this point, Aiden just is not as good as creating as he needs to be, right? Especially without a clean pocket. Now, if you got an offensive coordinator who's just a miracle mind and a clean pocket, Aiden to tear your ass up, okay? If you got precision routes and a clean pocket and somebody who knows how to use Aiden like a joystick, Aiden will tear your ass up. Aiden is not much of a creator, but he's not a statue, but he's a great robot. He can stand there and zip the ball all over the place. We've seen him be able to step up into the pocket more now and even scramble more now. So from game one to last game, we've seen him step up in the pocket. We've seen him improve his scrambling. We've seen him improve his ability to throw on the run. From there to now is so much better. So his improvement is coming. Our team improvement is coming. There's no reason that Aiden O'Connell can't be what we need him to be once you get more cohesion. And if we get an offensive coordinator who knows how to use Aiden O'Connell like a joystick, we'll be in business. Or we get Shedeur Sanders and we see if Shedeur can be the same things. If Shedeur can stand there and pick a place apart accurately. Because we have to remember, Shedeur is more mobile, but that doesn't make him very mobile. Unless now he's been hiding it for the pros because he doesn't want to get hurt in college. Because I can't imagine his dad being one of the fastest players to ever play in the NFL and him not being able to get some speed up. Not just Usain Bolt's son is going to be fast just because, but I would just believe that he would have more scramble than that. But maybe he just doesn't, and I'm just, hoping. But be that what it is, if we get a good offense coordinator, hopefully Shedeur can just sit there and robot and throw when he need to, and be more creative than Aiden. And we have an offense coordinator who understands how to use either one of their talents to the team's advantage. But we'll see. We'll see what type of head coach we get. Then we'll see what type of offense coordinator we get. Then we see what we can get and what's available in the draft. But I started watching part of the last game. I watched, every Aiden O'Connell game. And you know what? He's still there. He still can do it, in my opinion. Everybody else's opinion doesn't matter. Watching last game, I was more upset right after the game because of the loss and because I wanted to win so bad. But more even tilled and looking at the game a little more. I didn't finish the whole game, like I said, but I looked at more points in the game, and it was that. It's timing. It's a step behind. It's a step off. It's if he'd have kept running once he put his hand up, he'd have got the ball. You know what I mean? Those little mistakes that can disappear once you have, continuity. So if we don't get Shedeur Sanders, I still feel like we have a team that can grow together. Because nobody on our team right now is at the best they can be. Nobody as a rookie who has enough talent to be in the year for the next 4, 5, 6 years is as good now as they will be in that 6th year. That includes Brock Bowers, and that includes Aiden O'Connell. That includes Jacoby Meyer. That includes JPJ. That DJ Glaze. Uh, who else we got? Tyree Wilson. All the young people that are decent now are going to be really good in 4 to 6 years, and they'll have worked together in that time. And that's when you build timing, and that's when you build cohesiveness. So we start with whatever quarterback we start with from after the draft on, period. Because that timing and all that cohesion needs to start point blank, period, day one. There can't be any controversy because they are going to need every moment together that they can have to make sure they get the timing, the rhythm, and just the time together, the time on the field together to understand each other's tendencies, the way, how deep they like to run a 5-yard out or what type of angle they run it at and how they bend it. And everyone's tendencies. You learn people's tendencies once you play with them after a while. And once you get those tendencies, once you know each other's game and how they like to get it done, then you can dominate as players. Me and my friend Mike, this really has nothing to do with anything, but I'm going to say it anyway. When we first started playing together, we played ball. We were like, we were decent with each other. But once we knew each other's game, I could kick, jump, shoot, and handle the ball. And once he got to the corner, he was going to bust a triple every time. And that's what we did, and we killed people every time. And we didn't do it the first game we played together. But, we had known each other for years. And by the time we, a couple of years with us playing together, people knew us at the court we used to go to, and they would separate us because it was unfair. Not that we was dope to death. We just played at the local park. People know us at the park. And we got that stuff together because we had played together so long, and everybody knew that we played together so long. So we got to start playing together for so long. And we start playing together for so long as possible by starting on day one and never looking back, whether it be Aiden, Shedeur, Sammy Davis Jr. Whoever we decide is going to be the starting quarterback on day one, we never look away. We never tail back. Whoever the second string quarterback is, we say be ready for if he falls. Don't be ready to take over. Only if he's hurt do you see the field. No matter how bad it's going for him. No matter how bad it's going for the starter. Okay? You don't pull him. You don't break his confidence. The whole time you stay with him for the season. Now, if the season's over, you feel like you got to make changes, or if there's, injury in the season and you change and don't change back, however the world that works. But from now on, as soon as we get the quarterback, as soon as we get a head coach, they have to get together with Brock Bowers, hold hands, and say, let's do this together, okay? Because those are staying. Whoever the quarterback we bring in is going to stay because we got to learn with him. Whoever the head coach comes in is going to stay because we can't keep doing the coach carousel again. And Brock Bowers is the best tight end in the league, so he's going to stay, right? So those people have got to be the foundation of the team, and they've got to start being the foundation of the team from rookie camp day one. So, let's do it. Let's start over. It's time for rebuild season, okay? And it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard, okay? Prepare for it, okay? The silver lining is it's going to hurt hard, but it could develop later. So we have to be patient and watch for the development. Don't look for C.J. Stroud. Don't look for Jaden Daniels. look for a good quarterback and look for improvement and look for a chance for us to come together. Okay? It's because we can go out there, put it together, and we can put some wins together with a young team, but that doesn't mean we're going to go to the playoffs in year one. And we got to know that, and we should expect that. So that's another silver lining. The silver lining is we're going to have a bad season next year, but we know that now. And if we have a better season than we had this year, next year, we can all be extremely ecstatic because we're doing better. Right? So the ceiling for next year is lower than a motherfucker. Right? So be happy with what's coming up. The draft will show where we're going from there. The head coach is going to show where our franchise is going to go from there. And since we're on a rebuild, the rebuild should actually bring some stability in a backwards way because we're going to start this foundation, we're going to stay with the foundation, and we're going to work on it. And we're going to let it mature. We're not going to treat it like a building, as a matter of fact. We're going to treat it like a seed. We're going to germinate it, we're going to plant it, we're going to let it grow, we're going to tend to it, and see how strong we can get this tree of a team to grow. All right? Let's get out there. Let's start growing. Let's get some wins, okay? We can win some, but you can't win them all. And the clouds will get dark. I mean, dark. Black dark. But when you're looking for the silver lining through the seasons, you come to the guru. I messed up my closing statement. I do that sometimes. Guru out.